What's happening, everybody? So, in this video is going to be like a tier list about like the team's actions and off seasons. So basically, I have like five categories. The big winners, who are the teams who just basically upgraded, like whether it's like for now or like who's gonna be like a way better team um upcoming next season, or a team that just stockpile like upon for like they're really like a good future. Um, Winners is just like basically the team that just like kind of like maintain or something like that. But like to be honest with you, it's similar towards the big winners, but except like it's just they probably upgrade towards the lesser degree. Um, Wild cards is like it can go either way. Like they'll either probably mess up or they're gonna actually do pretty well. Neutral is like the team that just I don't really see making any significant change. Like they're gonna be where they're at for a little while unless they did something. And the losers are, obviously the losers. But actually, I'm just gonna make one live change, so I'll put the Rockets up here actually. So first big winner, I'd say, is the Detroit Pistons. So the Detroit Pistons, man, like they basically acquired Jaden Ivey, who's basically kind of like a 75% John Morant. Like he's like I believe like as old as John Morant, or like just a year younger than John Morant. So the upside maybe like a little bit like less, but um, they he has the quick burst like John Morant. He's very you know athletic like Morant, and him with Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes. Now it's gonna be pretty darn bright. And Loki, within 2 years, 3 years, I Loki got them making it deep in the playoffs, if not going to the finals. Now the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs, man, like look, they got a nice, beautiful backcourt with well, front court with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, which is a defensive twin tower. Like if you go down in the paint, good luck. And then now they got like a firepower with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, and they got LeVert probably starting at small forward, or Isaac Okoro, depends how the Cavs are using them. Like I low key got him as a sleeper to go to the finals last year after they got LeVert, but I tried, but I'm gonna do this again. I think the Cavs could I could see the Cavs going to the finals. I see Clippers versus Cavs in the finals. Cause look, like the only way you could probably beat the Cavs if you're hitting your threes on guards like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, because they are like small. Because if you drive in, prepare to meet with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Because oh my goodness, like. And look, I know they traded a lot of picks for Donovan Mitchell, which is like, look, I'm not the type who likes to trade like a hefty amount of draft picks, but since the Cavs do have enough young talent already, they got like Mobley, who's like like probably 21 years old, I believe. Um, Jared Allen, who's like 22, 23. Okoro, who's like 21 or something like that. Um, so there you got like enough of the youth, like to like essentially kind of like justify the means of trading for like a final piece of puzzle, because um like it's not like really like they're gonna just like it's not like it's just you're just gonna trade like for all, like it's not like you're not like a complete all veteran team that's like 20 your late 20s, or like your or like maybe mid 20s, or like it's not like all your stars are like up in the 30s, kind of like how the Clippers are. Like so Cavs, they won big time. They got the they got like they essentially got like their puzzle, because now you finally found someone to get the buckets. Like it could kind of backfire because like maybe like Mitchell and Garland might be ball dominant, but if Mitchell it could like if Mitchell or and Garland like just improve their threes, they're just whew, Cavs gonna be deadly. Cavs gonna be deadly. Like Cavs might be so good, like after LeBron contract expires, he's probably gonna try to find a way to sign back with the Cleveland Cavaliers, man, to get a free ring. I mean, I don't blame him. It would be cool to see LeBron in the Cavs uniform, low key. But next team is the San Antonio Spurs. Like, let's be real, the Spurs are gonna be pretty bad next season. But you know what? It's worth it because they got a boatload of first round picks for DeJounte Murray. 4 first round picks for DeJounte Murray, man. Like, DeJounte Murray, he's a pretty good player, but 4 first round picks? Damn. Like, they could either gonna be getting Scoot Henderson or Victor Wembanyama. Oh man, imagine one of them as the San Antonio Spurs. And like I said, this 2023 draft class is mad stacked. Now the Utah Jazz, same reason with the Spurs. They literally got 10 first round picks by just trading Rudy Gobert, who's essentially just a good defender, and Donovan Mitchell, who's, like a bucket getter, but they just couldn't make a pass far. Like they got 10 whopping first round picks. Like, man, I low key wish the Clippers could have done something like that, man. 10 first round picks, bro. Like, just trade Blake Griffin and CP3 and DeAndre Jordan for 10 first round picks. Oh my goodness. Shout out to you, Danny Ainge. You're a W general manager. Hopefully you could give us Jared Vanderbilt but just don't ask too much from us. Alright. Now Warriors. Warriors, they didn't make any too significant change, and that's a good thing because what does the Warriors really need to do? Like, they're all well rounded. Like, man, like I hate a lot of the Warriors fan base sometimes because they be like acting all cocky, but there's always some Warriors fans who are like the homie, so that's a good thing. But that's off topic. But the Warriors, man, like, bro, and they also drafted Patrick Baldwin Jr., who's 6'10", who has that nice little nice stroke. He has that strap. He has the blicking, and oh my goodness. Like, see, the Warriors is like the model of how you should build your team. Like, like they definitely prioritize the youth and the draft picks. Like, so many people I see online, it really irks me when I hear people say like, "Oh, that pick is not gonna mean anything," or like, "Oh, the draft picks are so overrated." Like, hello, Golden State, Golden State. So apparently, draft picks are like not really valuable. Like when so that's why how the Nets essentially screwed up their future when they traded rest of their picks to Boston, and then you gave Boston a championship caliber team with Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. Like apparently draft picks are irrelevant. I see. And next is nothing other than my favorite team, the Los Angeles Clippers. Like the Clippers, similar to the Warriors, they didn't make too much changes, but they did make some changes, but it's like they did not make any major trades yet. But hopefully the Clippers make some type of trades and not the type of trades that you got the mainstream Clippers fans looking. It's just some type of trades that me and my homie CGODB, my homie Clip Game don't bang. Um, we just cooking. We always be chatting with each other. Like we be talking about the types of trades that the Clippers should do, and if the Clippers could do the trades how we would want it to do. Oh my goodness, we would just, whew, we just be up there with the Warriors, man. Just dominate for 10 years, like. But they did upgrade a good amount. They did acquire the man John Wall. Now, John Wall, he does not need to be like this perfect 99 overall shooter, but he does shoot a lot better than what a lot of people give him credit for, especially like if you just look deeper, just more than just basic stats. He actually shoots like 40% when it's catch and shoot. He has the mid range. He's lightning quick, and the best part is he will unlock our center potential. Like he's gonna make if there is a person who's gonna like make Zubac to be a breakout player of the year, it's gonna be John Wall. Cause oh boy, if he made Gortat looking like a really good role player, I can only imagine how he's gonna make Zubac like Zubac. I'm calling it. I think he's gonna officially just have this Pau Gasol type breakout year. Cause Wall, man, he's gonna be feeding our big boys, and you know, who knows if John Wall even gets like 80% of himself, man, he'd be rousing, dousing everybody. I don't know what the heck I just said, but he's gonna make defenders freaking like shake just because how fast he is, and he's just gonna get this acrobatic little jelly. And also, don't forget, he got the highest amount of blocks for like a guard. So that just shows how good of a defender he could be. Now, less big winner, I would say. I kind of want to put him as a winner, but then I just think like, they actually did get some nice sleeper prospects for them because they got Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., which is the bucket backcourt, which is to get nothing but buckets. They recently traded Christian Wood for some draft picks. So, and who did they draft? They drafted Tari Easton, who is a dog on defense, man. It's like a pretty good power forward for them. Um, from what I've seen from him, he seems to be a pretty versatile defender. And they also got Jabari Smith Jr., who's a really big guard that could just essentially shoot, kind of like how Patrick Baldwin is. But obviously Jabari is like the better player, and he actually plays pretty good defense. He did kind of somewhat disappoint in the summer league from what I've heard. Like they say he can't create a shot or something. I didn't watch it, but from at least from what I've seen from Auburn, I thought he was pretty good. So now let's get to the winners. So the winner is the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks they just kept the squad. They didn't really I don't remember them doing anything moves, but they just resigned all their guys, which is as they should because they are a contender. They got brought back Portis. I think they even brought back Ibaka, which is like it's actually surprisingly a fairly solid decision because I thought Ibaka is a pretty solid backup. I'm annoyed that the Clippers just let him go, man, because Duke could space the floor, play the defense. Like, we should have at least got 2 second-round picks. Jesus Louise. What you doing, Lawrence Frank? But I just put the Clippers as a big winner because freaking John Wall, man. But anyways, another winner. I should say big winner, but, they didn't significantly upgrade, but they came in really clutch. The Brooklyn Nets. They kept KD and Kyrie, so one more year of contending. Well, not one more year, I should say. Like, I mean, more years of contending if I'm trying to be diplomatic. Like, KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, he's hurt. Um, like, they definitely need to try to find a way to make their team a lot deeper. Like, but KD and Kyrie ultimately agreed to stay with to become a net. So that's a pretty good thing. Now the Toronto Raptors. I was just hearing like something on social media that may trade Scotty Barnes for KD. Good thing that Masai Ujiri chose not to do that because Scotty Barnes, he's a dog. Pascal Siakam, Van Vliet, all them guys, Gary Trent, they essentially kept their squad, which is, they could potentially get better. So I just put them more in the winner category because, they can improve. Mavericks, they actually finally got like a pretty skilled big man. Like before, like they had the White Powers, their big man who was pretty, like, let's just say he didn't really do too much, but they did got Christian Wood. But at the same time, though, like I think Christian Wood, he might be like he could just be like another Porzingis to an extent because he's pretty frail, and Porzingis he's pretty skinny too, but he likes to shoot threes. But Wood, he would get bodied down low a lot of times, but he could be a pretty solid rebounder for the Mavs, and he can actually shoot threes. Unlike I don't know what Powell does honestly, but they did upgrade the center position big time. So shout out to the Mavs for getting Christian Wood. Celtics, their championship content. They went to the finals, man. So what did they do? They did upgrade a bit by getting Malcolm Brogdon, who's a pretty big scorer. I think we kind of should have put him a big winner, but like I don't want to be just putting too many teams just up in the big winner. But like Brogdon, like he could be kind of like the wild card to them. Like best case scenario is gonna go great. Worst case scenario, he's just injury prone attack. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? They got Gallinari, who's like a pretty big, who's basically kind of like a 16 like shooting guard, but he got injured, so that was a bummer. They drafted this point guard from Alabama, J.D. Davison. He's pretty athletic and he's shown potential to be a pretty solid defender too. So he's a really electric player. So you know, Celtics might have found himself a pretty good prospect up there. Grizzlies. The Grizzlies did not make any too much change. They have the young squad. Let's see. Um, they got Bane, who's like basically John Morant's Robin, basically sniping all the 3-point shots. Suns, I put them as a winner just because like they came in clutch to bring back DeAndre Ayton back. Was it worth it to bring back Ayton? I mean, if they want to keep their hopes up being a contender, then yes, it is. But maybe sometimes they could take the option to rebuild just because how stacked is the West, and they did like lose real bad against the Dallas Mavericks. So but they kept their team. They still have faith. So I guess that's a pretty solid thing that they kept CP3, Buck, Ayton, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges. So again, that's a W that they did not lose their big man position because no matter they really did lose Ayton to Indiana. They're gonna probably definitely have to make a lot of trade moves, man. They're gonna make some trade moves to get a legit big. Now, the Miami Heat didn't do too much. They just kept the team. They're aspiring team to be a contender. So I guess I just put them as like a winner, like. And then Portland Trail Blazers. They got Jeremy Grant, who's actually like a really good 3-and-D defender for Damian Lillard. They also even somehow managed to get the 7th pick. Like Dame being out for the rest of the year, like could be like a big blessing in disguise because at least you go down so low that you get like a really high upside shooting guard in Shaedon Sharpe. Um, Portland does have a lot of guard because they got Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons. So was Shaedon Sharpe a really right decision? I mean, I was actually a big Shaedon Sharpe guy. But you know, they they do have a lot of guards. I mean, so like maybe they could have took Jalen Duren, but at the same time though, Shane Sharp has the upside, so I don't blame Portland for banking up for upsides. So now let's get to the wild cards. So the wild cards, it could either go good or it could go bad. So the Wolves. Oh my goodness. 5 first round picks for Rudy Gobert, who's essentially a really good defender, but nothing really too special. He's like a Zubac with longer arms and like bigger size. I mean, like not really trying to call Rudy Gobert trash, but um if you really think about it, they both play pretty obviously Gobert's a way better rim protector than Zubac, so you know the Wolves they wanna send to the next level because they wanna unlock Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. So now they're trying to make this little front court, which Karl-Anthony Towns he don't know how to play big man, so he actually has a legit big man to lock up the paint. So like if it if they go make it deep, it'll be good. If it goes down south, it's gonna be somewhat brutal because they traded 5 first round picks. But like I said, what offsets the issue of trading so many picks is they have a pretty young squad. So that for so like if you have a really young squad that is pretty good, and you trade like a hefty amount of picks for like a final piece, it's like lesser of a problem, like because like it balances everything out. Like it's not like your core is essentially old. Like see, like the thing with the problem when the Clippers traded for Paul George is like our roster, like they were not really that young. It was like Shea was the only young guy, and then Jerome Robinson and Leonard Shammer, they were just like really average players, and those were the young guys. So that was kind of like the problem of that was essentially the problem of when the Clippers traded for Paul George. Like they did not have the true balance, but Clippers luckily they found a way to recover by like stealing some second round picks, getting Terrence Mann and Brandon Boston Jr. But the Clippers should definitely refrain from trading the youth because like our rosters are like are like kind of like some like not really like old because a lot of our roster our players are like in their mid 20s, but like they're not really gonna be like a generational great or something like that. So that was just a little side note. Atlanta Hawks, same situation with the Wolves, but like I said, they traded a lot of picks for DeJounte Murray, which is going to be a bit interesting because DeJounte Murray is actually like 6'4", so he could qualify as a shooting guard. Um, what offsets like the issue of them trading so many picks is Onyeka Okongwu, who I think is a really underrated center who's a rebounding menace and a really good interior defender. And not Cam Reddish because he just got traded. Who else? Oh, DeAndre Hunter, who's pretty good wing defender. Hopefully, maybe the Atlanta Hawks could do a little deal with us, man. Trade, maybe you could give us some first round picks, specifically 2023, for one of our players. Because there's so many prospects I'll be fielding in this upcoming draft class. Now the last wild card is the Orlando Magic. So the Orlando Magic, I could, in theory, put them in the losers because, like, I don't know, it was kind of weird that they took Paolo Banchero and they don't have any shooters around him. Like, the only shooter is Franz Wagner, who's actually pretty good for them. Shout out to the Magic for Franz Wagner, but like that's the only like person that can really like shoot the ball like so efficiently because like Cole Anthony, like he's more of like a point guard type of scorer. Like he's definitely more a type who needs to take a lot of shots, kind of like a Reggie Jackson or like a prime Kemba Walker or like like essentially any like scoring like point guards. Like he could definitely shoot. Let's get that fake. Let's get that straight. My bad, but those are the only two like legit like people who could like shoot like that I could think of as like the shooters. Like there's no really anyone else that can really shoot. And Paolo Banchero, man, because Paolo is like a pass first type point forward. He's like a Ben Simmons that has a better shot and more of the confidence. So like Paolo, he's a really talented dude, but like if I were Orlando, I would have done more to like get some like really efficient shooters, like like maybe like uh let me try to think of any other like legit like really efficient shooting guard. Like maybe they could have tried to find a way to get Seth Curry or heck maybe they could just overtrade, just give up a lot of picks for Luke Kennard or something like that, or maybe they could have went or maybe they could have tried to trade for some more draft picks for 2022, and they could just try to went for I don't know some guy like Malachi Brownman who's from Ohio State who's a pretty good shooter. That would have been pretty well with Banchero. So now let's out of the wild card list. Let's get to the neutral list. So neutral list, Washington Wizards. So they did bring back Bradley Beal, but I don't really see anything they did that's going to significantly improve them. They got Johnny Davis from the draft, who's I don't know how he's gonna fit with the team. Like, I guess he could be the point guard, who's that could be pretty. solid. They still have Porzingis, they still have Kuzma, so they might be the team who might just sell, or they could be a dark horse sleeper. But right now, I just don't really see like how they're gonna really make go anywhere. Like who knows? They could surprise me. Bulls, same thing. I don't really. They're gonna be like a fifth seed, maybe at best fourth seed, but I don't really see them like going anywhere because they didn't make any significant moves that stands out. Indiana Pacers, they're gonna be another team that's tanking for Victor Wembanyama. Shout out to them though for almost getting DeAndre Ayton, who's pretty skilled. Well, not really the most skilled, but a pretty good, strong big man who could essentially like space the floor. Kings, the Kings, they're still the Kings. They're just the same. With no disrespect to any Kings fan watching this video, but they're just gonna really stay the same. They didn't really make any moves, so I had to put them in neutral list. OKC, Chet Holmgren got hurt. OKC still have a lot of picks, so they're gonna they're gonna try to like rebuild for. They're gonna try to tank for Victor Wembanyama, but they actually do have a pretty bright future. Maybe I kind of put them a little too low. I low-key may have should put them in the winner, but right now I didn't really see them significantly get anyone that really improved them other than Chet Holmgren, but he's hurt right now. So prayers up to Chet Holmgren. Nuggets. Nuggets. I didn't really see any trade moves that really stand out that made me think that they improved. Pelicans, same situation. Now let's get to the last category, the losers. Now anyone who's a fan base of these four teams who's in the losers fan base, please don't take it to any offense. I'm just gonna be really objective as possible. Of course, I got the team I hate, the Lakers, down there. So I'm gonna have some fun poking against the Lakers. So first of all, the New York Knicks. I don't know what were the Knicks doing by just throwing away these draft picks. They just traded 3 first-round picks for. Well, they traded this 12 picks for I don't know 3 conditional first-round picks. What the heck is that? They traded Jalen Duren, who's a really physical, young, exciting big man for scraps. Um, they just did all that just to get Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, he's a really good role player, borderline star type of guard, but that is no way. There's no justification, man. Just doing this much just to get Jalen Brunson. Bro, I would, if I were the Knicks, I would just essentially tank, kind of tank another year just because this draft class is stacked. But nah, you just kind of chose some type of mediocrity by just trading some picks. I don't know what were the Knicks thinking, but if you're a Knicks fan, I feel nothing but respect for you and all that. So how does that? Um, now. Let's just go with the Sixers and the Hornets, and then the Lakers. I'll just save for the best for last. So the Sixers. Um, I know I sound really extra by putting the Sixers at losers. They did all their thing. They did really good. Bring back Harden, and they didn't do anything really bad in trade moves. But the only thing they did really did bad, but it's gonna be painful for them, is they need to fire Doc Rivers. That dude is just atrocious. He's literally Captain Smith of the Titanic. That boy will sink you, and oh, and actually I take that back. They did something to do real bad, and they brought back Montrezl Harrell, who's an ultimate tweener in the center position. You can't really put him at power forward just because I'll give him that his shooting improved, but he'd probably get cooked by some power forwards, and Doc is gonna play him at center, and he's gonna get fried. Um, my dream is the Sixers to play against the Clippers, so that way our big man, Ivica Zubac and Moses Brown, could just body Montrez down inside the paint. But um, apparently, but I don't think the Sixers could make it that far. Like if I were a Sixers fan, as other than winning a championship, if the Sixers lose, if I were a Sixers fan, I would hope we lose like so bad because it's gonna expose Doc Rivers' coaching. His coaching is just atrocious. He makes the worst adjustments and everything. Hornets, I had to put them in the losers category. Like this is not really the Charlotte Hornets' fault, but Miles Bridges, man, supposedly he beat up some woman, like domestic violence. Like domestic violence is definitely not cool, man. So they essentially kind of like, I don't know what happened with the Miles Bridges situation. Like I think now they officially lost out on him, so that's a huge bummer because that dude is a really nice athletic power forward to help the team. But that's a big fat bummer. But now let's get to the Lakers, man. The Lakers. What are you doing? What are you doing? So first of all, draft night. You took Max Christie, who's basically 30% from the 3-point line, and he doesn't really do anything pretty special. Like he's just like a Stanley Johnson type player. You took him over Jaden Hardy, who would have been so helpful for you guys, man. Hardy would have got buckets for y'all. Hardy would have got buckets. So, but I guess Malik Monk will solve the issue. Like Malik Monk, he'll be the bucket getter. Oh wait, y'all let him go to the Kings. You let Malik Monk go to the Kings. Now Monk, if I'm being honest with you, he's like the Lakers' second best player, like for this season, because AD kept getting hurt so often. And at moments, Malik Monk was actually the best Laker player because that dude was actually getting all the buckets and playing solid defense. But y'all let him go. Y'all let him go. Like man, and then one good move, I guess, but it's just for like a current state is they traded for Patrick Beverly, who's a really moment, like a momentum good defender, but that's just probably gonna be 1 year or 2 years. Like that's just essentially gonna be it. Like you might have like the ratio of losing Malik Monk and Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly cannot outweigh the ratio of losing Malik Monk because the Lakers, other than LeBron and AD, who's gonna really get the offense? Like Austin Reeves, at best it's a decent borderline mediocre shooter. He has some spurts, I'll give him that, but like boy, imagine if Tyronn Lue actually gives Brandon Boston Jr. big minutes. Boy, he'd be putting everyone in a blender. But Austin Reeves, a decent shooting guard, like a Danny Green type shooting guard. Like the best comparison for Austin Reeves is like the San Antonio Spurs Danny Green, which is a solid shooting guard, I guess. Um, who else? Who else do the Lakers actually have? Jeez, I don't even know. Like, I don't even remember their starting center. I'm not even trying to disrespect the Lakers right now, but I hate the Lakers. So I'm being petty, but I don't even. But I genuinely forgot who's the starting point guard. I mean, center for the Lakers. Like the dude from the Kings. Um, and yeah, who did they really have on the team? Jeez, like man, if I were the Lakers, like I mean, the best the Lakers could have done is just trade LeBron, trade AD, get some picks, just be really bad for 3, 4 years, and who knows, start getting a pretty like good prospect or something like that. But now they're just gonna be pretty bad for like at least like a cool like 8 years. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, hopefully, the Lakers find like a so-called big name, like a washed-up big name, and they trade all the rest of their picks for it. That'd be so fun. They would just be doomed for the decade. But anyways, let me know what you think about this grading video. Like, Do you like my tier list? What would you change? Just leave a comment down below. And as y'all know, have a great day, have a great night, and peace. Ooh.